great to have you back. Okay, today what we're going to talk about on this training tape is we're going to talk about what I call your way of eating. Now notice, I didn't say your diet because that's a no word in my system. So in my system, what I find is that most of my clients come and they have really heavy associations with diets. So we're not going to talk about diets. What we're going to talk about are the 3 ways of eating that you can establish and that you need to establish to create a structure so that you can do all of the other work. Now, the way of eating actually lays the foundation for the emotional track and the mental track, because if our way of eating is all out of balance, then what happens is we can't really handle, we're not centered enough to be able to deal with the emotional issues that are coming up and with the mind chatter that goes on that sabotages us. So the way of eating and the way of eating that you choose has to be a way of eating that supports the optimal balance of your biochemistry. Because remember, we talked about the 3 tracks. If you didn't listen to that training tape yet, you're going to want to go back and listen to the training tape on the 3 tracks. The track that the way of eating supports mostly is the biochemical track. So we need to find a way of eating that helps us stabilize our system and that creates the safest environment for us to proceed working on our emotional issues that underlie our emotional triggers. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about the types of ways of eating that you have to choose from. You can do what I call is a food plan. So a food plan is just a very specific system, and it's a specific structure that you set up in advance so that you know beforehand what it is you're going to eat that day. And that is very safe for a lot of people because then they don't have to be thinking in the moment, what am I going to eat? What's okay for me to eat? Everything is laid out as a plan beforehand, and you know if you're one of those people, because you'll just go, that feels so much better to have a way of eating, a food plan in place. Think of it as like a safe structure. It's like a warm blanket that just holds you and keeps you safe throughout the day. That's what your food plan should be. Now, in order for your food plan to be that to you, you want to have the foods that support your body, and you don't want to have trigger foods in there. So you don't want to have foods that feel unsafe to you. You want to eliminate those. And optimally, you want to have worked with a professional person, a professional health person who has done some testing, and you're working collaboratively to determine for yourself what the best food plan would be for you. But never give your power away totally to that professional. No. In fact, what you've got to do instead is go, does this feel okay to me? That's very important. And what I would advise in terms of my products is I actually have a product, an ebook called The Art of Authentic Eating. And it's in the Art of Authentic Eating that you can learn, and I give you the questions that will help you find the best food plan for you and the best way of eating for you, in fact. So what we just talked about, the first way of eating is what I call a food plan. Now, the second way of eating is the other side of the spectrum, and it's what I call natural eating. So that's where you're learning how to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. Now, I have people that have come to me, and when we've started to get into this and talk about this, they go, no way am I ever going to have a food plan, because to them, that just feels not safe at all. It feels too much like a diet, something they've been in and out of for years and years and years, and they're just rebelling against that with all of their might. So they will not at all engage in what we call a food plan. Those are the people, if that sounds like you, you'll know it's you because your body will just crunch up and go no when you hear anything that reeks of diet. In that case, what you want to do is you want to work with natural eating. So natural eating is really a little bit harder. It's hard because you have to be enough in tune with your body to know when you're hungry, what you're hungry for, and when you're satisfied. But if you're at that place and you feel like you can master that, then that would be the perfect way for you to go. You would just simply choose a way of eating that we call natural eating. Now, if you want a product that can help you with that, I also have one that you can purchase that's called Aware Eating. And that's wonderful. It's a set of exercises that help you get in tune, stay in tune, and essentially become really mindful around your food. There's a third way, and it's my favorite way. The third way is what I call is a combination of food plan and natural eating. So an example might be, okay, I'm going to eat 3 meals a day, nothing in between, or maybe I'll allow myself to have a snack in the mid-afternoon. That's the plan. But within those times, so within those meals, I'm free to eat whatever I want. I will do what we call natural eating. I'll eat what I'm hungry for, and I'll stop when I'm satisfied. So that's one example of a combination of a food plan and natural eating. Another example of a combination of a food plan and natural eating would be, okay, the structure is going to be absolutely no gluten and no sugar, because I know that those are my trigger foods. But with that structure in place, I'm going to eat naturally. I'm going to eat when I'm hungry, eat what I'm hungry for, and stop when I'm satisfied. So now you can see there's a wide variety of ways to eat, and each person's way of eating has to support you. It has to support your biochemistry, your lifestyle, and your particular personal needs. And one more thing before we end. You're going to want to be sure that you include in your way of eating something that feels very, very nurturing. Because if you don't, you won't be able to stick to it. And there's a second piece that's similar to this. I want you to be sure that you give yourself enough flexibility. So for example, you may do the first 5 days of the week, Monday through Friday, and because of your schedule and your work schedule, you may want to have a little bit more structure. But then come the weekend and you're out with friends and you're going out to eat and that kind of thing, you may want to give yourself a little less structure. So your way of eating can be flexible. It doesn't have to be rigid. It's meant to support you. Remember that. If you'd like more information about how you can heal from emotional eating, visit my website, emotionaleating.com. When you get there, just simply subscribe to the newsletter, and when you do, you'll be sent a series of training videos just like this one. Please don't give up hope. If I can do it, so can you.